Good morning, all my friends here. So far, so good, everyone? Yeah? Okay, well, I don't want to start this as a pessimistic person, but can I just be very honest? First of all, I haven't prepared anything for today besides the slide, which was conducted by one of my interns. And I asked her to build a slide about the topic. So it wasn't from my personal perspective, but rather it was from her interpretation of what was happening. And today, as much as I was enjoying the entire process, the speeches from all of our very excellent speakers, I was quite drained. I'm very tired, I'm wrecked, I'm not in my best self today. And to be honest, I haven't felt my best self in a very long time. Yesterday, I got an event in Ho Chi Minh City, and as you might know, I also had a lot of deadlines from my study, from my other work, from my social project. All of this, and I didn't get enough sleep. It was quite contradictory to what we have learned today, for example, from Missing Out sharing, which she told us that we should take rest for ourselves. Well, I didn't. And today, one of the key highlights coming to TEDxYersin, I don't know if I can pronounce that correctly. I don't study French, but I hope to study more languages in the future. But stepping onto the campus, one of the things that actually caught me off guard was the landscape, the fresh air, the people, the energy, and that is what kept me going. However, I cannot avoid feeling like, again, I'm still very tired, mentally and physically. It got to a point that I have to ask myself every day, am I on the correct path? Do I still have my sense of self? Or in other words, do I still understand my ego? Again, the title ego wasn't my choice of topic. It was the intern who, take a look at the topic of this TEDx, and she took a look at what I was, having in mind, and she decided that the best name for this topic would be ego. And that actually challenged me, because for a brief moment, I didn't even understand what was ego. Do you understand the word ego? What is ego? Is it some kind of self-esteem that you have for yourself? Or is it the ego in the sentence that, oh no, you hurt my ego. You hurt my ego by saying that. Is it is it your arrogant self? For me, ego is very simple. I can simply define ego as my sense of self. And again, my sense of self is nothing far away. It's a set of my core values. I don't determine myself by the way that I dress, by my height, by the way that I talk, or what do I have to offer for this world, or if I can have a good runway walk. That's not who I am. I determined myself by a deep sense of my own values. These values are not what can be easily achieved. In fact, I have spent the last 6 years already, ever since I got the key to unlock my potential. And that was when I was 18. A little bit backstory. I was born into a family of 2 doctors. My parents, they work in the medical field, and that was all that they know. Growing up, I have people telling me 2 things only. First, are you going to become a doctor? Second, oh wow, you're so tall. Do you play basketball? To that I say, no ma'am, I don't play basketball. Oh, so you play volleyball? No, I don't play volleyball, even though that my parents play volleyball, but I don't really play volleyball. Oh yeah, so you don't want sport, so you should become a model. I'm like, yeah, from my experience watching Vietnam Next Top Model, it's not my desired career path because it's very dramatic. And then they hit me with a conclusion. Oh, you're so tall. You should become a beauty queen. My very young mind back then, I was like, I don't want to be a beauty queen. It seems to be very mindless in a way. Because again, my parents, they didn't know anything about the entertainment industry. My mom, she watched pageants a little bit, but for the most of the time, well, my brain process is a little bit slow today, but yeah, but most of the time, my mother was very busy trying to work 2 jobs and sustain the family. So again, I didn't have a lot of perspectives. I wasn't so open-minded. All that I learned from my parents was that I need a stable job. And it was such a pristine honor for me to be born in a family of 2 lifesavers. But I didn't really understand what it means to be a doctor. And I ask myself every day, do I really want to become one? Even though I had that question in my mind, I still could not find an answer. I was young, and the world around me, they were telling me things. They encouraged me to become a doctor. Go girl, you can become a doctor just like your parents. So it got to a point. When I was approaching my 18th birthday, I had to make a decision. Everyone knows what that decision is. Now, choose your major and choose what you have to do in life, what you need to do in life. So suddenly, before 18, I didn't have the freedom, I didn't have the mind to choose my own career path. I was quite clueless. But suddenly, when you approach 18, the world and the legal system hand you a key. And they tell you, now you're free, Now you have the right to choose your own path. It was like a moment of freedom. Oh, where you have all the doors in the world and you have this key, which is your freedom, to choose whatever it is. At that time, I was still very clueless. I didn't know what to choose. Again, like many of the speakers right here, I just, turn a blind eye and just listen to my parents and try to study medicine. And I quickly learned after only 2 years of high school, as you need to study for your university exam, I learned that I was not made for this. And I would harm more people than I would do good if I tried to pursue a career that I wasn't dedicated enough. So I turned to another path, and I chose business administration. Once again, this wasn't a very, wasn't a very well-aware decision. It was simply that I didn't have any more choices. I didn't want to become an engineer. I didn't want to become, financial accountant. I don't see myself as that. So I chose to study the most general major out there, might I say, business administration. And gladly, you know what? For the first year, I felt like I was making a right decision because at least I wasn't studying medicine. But then it got to a point again where I encountered another barrier. I have escaped my first misdirection, but now I thought that I figured it out. But in fact, I haven't. I didn't. And as I was studying business administration, I encountered another challenge, another decision. What sub-major in business administration would you want to partake in? Is it marketing? Is it human resources? Is it, again, financial accounting? I didn't know. I didn't have any guidance. So I did what I could do best at that time. That was to follow others' people's path. So I was this little fish in the sea, didn't know where to swim. And I look at the fishes around me, the seniors who have already accomplished, who are very well achieved in their life. They are the intern, the management trainee, the managers of large corporations. That seemed to be a very impressive path for a business administration student like me. So I followed the exact recipe. Whatever they were doing, whatever they were studying, whatever contest they were participating in, whatever job that they are applying for, I did the same. And at the end of the day, there we go. To a certain degree, I have made it. I became the person that I wished to become 2 years ago. I had all of these achievements, the certificates, the work opportunities. I was an intern of corporations, only by the time of my second year. So if you guys remember this photo of me, you know, kind of flexing of my achievements and of the certificates that I had, which actually went very viral on the internet, I actually felt, again, very empty. I have, became that person, became that image that I wanted to be. But I didn't know what to do next. And then looking back at my own experience, I felt contradicted. First, all of those certificates, all of the achievements, of course, the experiences, they were very useful for a young student to navigate her industry, to know where she can contribute. But most of the experience didn't really contribute to anything, but made me a little bit weaker. I was burning out. And secondly, the path that I thought I would like to contribute to wasn't matching with my own values. So I got into capitalism. I signed up for corporations. I have a corporate job. I climbed the corporate ladder. And I work in marketing campaigns and sales. So all I talk about was number and how to, sell you guys stuff. I have to be very profit-driven. All I could talk about was money. But deep inside myself, I don't have that belief. I didn't believe that I was born to this world just to make another coin, just to make a profit. Of course, I need to sustain myself, but what will I do beyond that? I'm not trying to frame corporations as some kind of evils or not good entities. They are an integral part of the world ecosystem. But I recognized that I wasn't the one who could contribute into the cycle of profit and revenues. I could do my job very well, but I didn't want to do it. And I know that it's such a privilege to say that. But again, it was my own journey, and I need to take another step to recognize what was it within me. Because I always hear a voice that pushed me forward to go beyond what I was doing. And that was when I got another intern job as a nonprofit organization. And I recognized something. I realized that I believe in contributing to world's problems. As vague as it might seem, as novel as it might seem, my concept was pretty easy. We are living in such a world of complexities. There are many things happening in this world that is more important than our own expenses and our own benefits. I'm talking about world peace. It's such a privilege for me to stand here and to say that I could be tired because I got a lot of opportunities to travel and to work. A lot of people in this world, they don't have that chance. The story happening in Palestine, Ukraine, many places in the world, they don't even have a home to live. And all they have in their mind was to survive and pray to God that they, won't be killed. Another issue, climate change. We were born into this world, and we were so fortunate to be receiving of the wonderful resources that this earth has to offer. But because of humanity's selfishness, and because all we want to chase in the 21st century is to make another bang, make another buck for ourselves at the expenses of other people and at the expenses of this world, we are hurting the planet. It's our only home. So when I realized all of those big stories, I asked myself, why do I care about it? Why do I feel so deeply connected to those kind of stories? And I look back to myself, those kinds of big issues align with my life, align with your life. You might not feel the impact of war because we are living in peacetime, but remember what our ancestors had to pay with their own blood, sweat, and tears, so we can live peacefully today. And understand that we are no exception to the impact of world issues like climate change. In Dalat, 10 years ago, it used to be a very different place. Dalat now is still a very beautiful place, but the weather has changed. It's not as cool, and the temperature rises very abnormally. So, I recognized something, and I understood that those kind of macro stories have a role in sustaining my life and the life of my loved ones. Coming back to the story of identifying my own values, I see myself having a desire to contribute to those kinds of matters. I don't know if everyone here think about the same stories or if you have the same desire to go on a similar path. But with all due respect, we understand each other as each of us as a unique entity, and we have different stories and different ambitions. For me, my value is very simple. Is to contribute my very little effort, my small and tiny hand, into the world, into solving the world's problem. And one of the best things about recognizing my values is actually that when I see what I want to do in life, I also see that I don't need to sacrifice everything. I don't need to redo everything in order to achieve the ambition that I want. I'm still a business administration student. I'm still contributing to, let's say, the nation's GDP and still work with capitalists. But in a way, when you have your own sense of self, you have your set of values, you can actually make an impact to the world around you. I changed my way of looking at businesses. I used to view them as the enemies of the planet. But then I asked myself how stupid I am, because they are the ones who are giving jobs to the people. They are the ones who, producing and feeding us, basically. So I cannot take them out of the market. And a lot of the businesses nowadays, they are wanting to make a difference to the planet, but they just don't know how, or they are in the middle of it. So why don't I support them? I'm the person who learned about the impact of climate change, of other social issues. I have an awareness of that, and I'm ready to contribute to my corporations, my organizations, to change the way that they are doing. Until now, I'm still a beauty queen working in the entertainment industry, but I'm also a person who is trying to make a difference in her own world. When I just got my crown and I talked to my managers about all of these stuff and about my ambitions, about my visions, they don't really have a care. That didn't align with their values. But day by day, I communicate what I thought. I communicate what I thought that was good for them and for the common. They started to change. And now, you see me doing a lot of social work. I'm working with the UN, the United Nations, to talk about climate change. And I have the support of my organization, of my managers, which are the things that I didn't think that I could achieve before. So at the end of the day, how can we unlock ourselves? And what is the real key, the true key to unlocking your world? May I say, you need to identify your ego. Have your sense of self, solidifying your set of values, and remember, the key to unlocking the world is actually to unlock yourself. And that is it for the presentation today. Thank you so much for listening, and Happy New Year, everyone.